Hi, Frank. Finally getting back to you with this review. Just so you know, reviewing this type of paper, I stopped counting after about 10 hours, but it takes many, many hours to review because we're getting closer to publication. Uh, on the positive side, you've really done a nice job with this particular version. I've made numerous changes but the core is there, and your hard work made it easier for me to make the adjustments that I did. The first thing I wanted to adjust is the dual edged title because, well, you might think there's this behave pros and cons situation and that it's new. That's pretty typical with any kind of paper, so it's not necessarily a great way to lead in. And your research questions really don't address that specifically. You ask about faculty use, you look at challenges, and then future research. You're not looking necessarily at benefits versus challenges. So what I thought would be a more generic title would be Mapping Faculty Use of Generative AI in Higher Education, an umbrella review. And I've decided to use the umbrella review because review of reviews, it's also used, seems a little bit awkward when you're writing the paper, or it seemed to be for me. So things that I added an abstract, and it nicely summarizes what happened. I've added a pretty significant background and rationale, which was needed. And I encourage you to read that to give you an idea of what you need to do to justify this type of paper. I revised the literature review and put emphasized that of the method with Arsky and O'Malley, and then also using the preferred reporting items for systematic reviews in the analysis of the papers. The search strategy remains the same, and you did a nice job in this synthesis. Did some rewording, but overall it's fine. So I didn't pose the research question. I posed a title, which is much easier to read than this long research question. And then I just said the first research question examined this, and I organized this. Now, what I did instead of the separate tables that you put is I created a one big table that everybody could look at, and it kind of gives a nice overview. I put it into 3 columns, and so you can see how it nicely organizes. And then we just looked at each of these sections, and I revised the writing and looked at, cleaned up some of the text and such. But generally, this section was done quite well. We then move into the faculty challenges, and I talk about these, and created a separate table for some of them because there were so many more items. And so the way this works is I listed these. Then I used APA format, which is an indented and bold and title case for each of the items, and put in your text and adjusted accordingly. So that worked out well. We went to ethical challenges and did the same thing. And for each of these, we looked at it. Now, here's something that I need you to do. You did a good job on academic integrity, bias, and data privacy and security. So those are those 3. However, equity in the digital divide was completely missing. And with transparency and accountability, you have 5 articles here referenced, but you only have 1 here. So we have to work out that and ensure it is absolutely critical to ensure that these numbers are correct. And so please write a section for the digital divide and ensure that your transparency numbers, either it's 5 articles and that goes up on the table and we have to change that, or I imagine that's the way it's going to be. It worries me a little bit that this doesn't match the table. So again, when you're submitting something, particularly for a journal, we want to make sure that it's correct, because obviously that could be a significant issue. We're looking at institutional challenges. I've again separated them out and shortened them, and then pedagogical challenges. And I think this one, yes, this one needs to be improved a little bit. The first ones are fine, thinking and creativity. Although, yeah, no, this one needs to be expanded, each of this section. You have 22 articles here and just one line here. And same with assessment, just one reference. Student engagement, just one reference. Curriculum misalignment, you didn't put any references. You have traditional faculty roles. You may add a little bit. Student equity needs more, and pedagogical frameworks need more. I suspect you just ran out of steam here, but I want to match the high quality rigor that you had in the previous sections in this section, particularly because you're focusing on pedagogy, which is absolutely critical. Now, you may notice this paper is quite a bit shorter. I had to get it down. It's down now to about 7,500 words, not including the references in the appendix. I think it was at about 1,400. That could never get published. So I looked at all these, and you'll see the changes here. Oh yeah, I can see this again. I don't know why you did this. It's not APA format, but you put in page numbers here. You never do that. And so I painstakingly removed most of these, but you have to make sure that they're not in there. That is not APA format. You only put page numbers in there if you have an exact quote. Oh, again, missed that. Here are the page numbers. You will suffer watching me have to do this because I did this for probably at least an hour trying to get rid of these things. And yeah, so each of these I've shortened and focused. And yeah, again, we have these page numbers here. I'm going to try to remove them all, but I would like you to see if you could double check this. Oh, again, oh my goodness. So yeah, that's my review of this. So if you can make those changes, I promise if you get them to me, I will back to you within probably less than 24 hours, because as you said, we want to kind of get this paper out and submitted somewhere.